Slab leak repair. Broken indoor waterfall. Waterfalls are great until one breaks inside of your house. Now, this indoor water feature probably cost about 20 grand to build. This is really nice. Got a water feature on one side, a planter on the other, and a wall that comes up between them that is actually the waterfall. Pretty cool. About 20 grand to build and about 1,000 to make the repair. That's really not too bad. Let me explain to you why I was called in. Well, one of my plumbers had gone out, and we know this customer. He uses us for HVAC. Well, this customer has a beautiful indoor water feature. And you'll see a little bit of it here in a little bit, but there's a water feature there that has a waterfall to it. So it's got a retaining pond at the bottom. It's almost like a swimming pool. You've got jets that allow water in, you got drains that take water out, but one of those supply lines, the jets, also pumps up to a waterfall feature, goes over into a little retaining area where it flows over the edge to make a waterfall. It's really beautiful. Well, we sent a plumber over there who is an amazing plumber, went over to do leak detection, him and his apprentice, and they're both really, really good at what they do. They got over there and they said, Roger, we know there's a leak. We think we know where it is, but we're trying to get under to determine exactly where it is. This house is not on a slab, it's on a pier and beam. So they go under the house and, well, they run into an area where there's a hole about 14 inches wide, about 18 inches tall. They could have gotten through there, except there's ductwork going through this hole. So I was called in to see if I could tell with my electronic equipment exactly where the leak is, to find out, do they really need to get in there, or does this run out by the pool equipment that actually pumps it and filters it? So that's why I got called in. And I gotta tell you, I'm really glad that I did, because this was a very cool job, but also it ended really weird. So let's start off, first of all, how did I find the leak? Well, you know, when I walk into a house looking for a leak on a water line, you always start out at the meter, you go to the valve box, you go in the house, you listen to the angle stops with the right equipment. Well, a swimming pool's a little bit different. You use a little bit different kind of equipment. The way that you want to do it, you want to make sure that you have electronic equipment, leak detection equipment that has an underwater mic. But the brands that I use for all my leak detection, they're all very good at certain things. If you do not have an underwater mic, it's really going to be hard for you to listen to a leak underwater. So what we did first is we went in and he had skimmer covers over 3 inlets in the bottom of the pool. Well, it actually turns out 2 of them are suction and only 1 of them's an inlet. So the way this was designed, I'm going to call this thing a pool, because that's really what it is. It's a pool that's about 12 inches wide, about 12 feet long, and it's got 3 skimmer covers mounted in the bottom of the pool. Now, this pool's only 2 feet deep, but still, it's a body of water with water supplied and pumped out right here in it. So the way this was designed, there were actually 3 skimmer covers in the bottom of the pool, and there's electrical lights in it. So we moved all the rocks off the skimmers to where we could actually get to the lids, and we took them out. And in there, you had 3 different lines. You had 2 2-inch lines on one end and 1.5 inches on the other. The first thing that I did was grab my equipment and listen to all 3 of these pipes. Almost immediately, I knew which pipe it was. So what I did at that point is I actually let the plumber, the apprentice, I let them listen to it too, because I wanted to see what they thought. Now, the way I do this is I have them put the equipment on and I tell them what noise they're looking for. And what they're actually looking for is a rumbling noise, almost like a jet engine, like a boiling noise. So each one of them put it on and told me the same thing. Roger, we think it's over here. I concurred. The equipment that I use whenever I'm doing a plumbing leak is always my Leak Pro equipment. So I've got the Sidekick, I've got a probe. I actually have the complete kit with the extra headphones and all this. And I love this for a couple of different reasons. Now, a lot of people still use geophones. They walk in, they lay the geophones down, unhook the hose, because you've got to close it off. If you don't, when you drop them down, they'll blow your eardrums out. These are a little bit different, and I like these. Actually, these and my Leaktronic, you actually put the headphones on. Now, I always try not to cover my ears in the beginning. If I do, I want to make sure I got the volume turned all the way down, because once you press this button, that's when the noise goes through. What you can do is put this for plumbing. I would check the meter, I would check the valve box, then I would check the angle stops inside, press the button and listen to it. The Leaktronics is set up the same way. You have a device around your neck, you plug into it, it goes to your headphones. You plug another line into it, it goes to your wand. I like the Leak Pro. It's a little smaller, more compact for walking around in the house, checking all the plumbing fixtures. So what I did is I literally used my Leaktronic equipment and I plugged in the underwater mic. It's really cool because coming from plumbing, you've got to check everything throughout. When you're doing pulls, it's a little bit different. You want to check the lines. And the way to do it is pull the skimmer cover off or get down to the jet where it comes into the pool. Stick the microphone in it just a little bit, wait for the water to stop moving and press the button. Once we did that, we knew exactly what it was. I love the fact that I've got different equipment and I know how to use it for different things, but we knew which line it was. So now I'm gonna get to the interesting part, the repair. So we went in with the Leaktronics equipment, we used the underwater microphone, we determined that it was one of the inlet lines, the line on the right. So we did a couple of things. First of all, the homeowner had been watching this water and was losing inches a day in this little bitty pool. He said that before he had a leak, it was only going down about 1/4 inch a day, which we would call evaporation. It makes sense. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to isolate this one particular line to determine, is this the line? Or is it one of the other ones? We stuck a plug in that first line. When we called him the next day, he said, Roger, the water level did not go down. So what that told me is, okay, I'm at the right line. So we went out the next day to look at everything. Now, I'd gone on vacation, so when I came back, I talked to him and said, Roger, the water level has not gone down since we put the plug in. So now here's where it got crazy, because we had a choice. If this is the line, we've got to make a hole in the cultured marble floor or go under the house, remove ductwork and crawl in. So what did we end up doing? Well, I went back and took the plug out, had him turn on the pool, had him fill it up, had him circulate it, and then I told him I wanted to see what happened after that. Well, again, after taking the plug out, the water level did not go down. Now, it could be a couple of things, so I'm just gonna solve the problem for you real quick. Either when I put this plug in and tightened it up, there was a crack in there that maybe had misaligned and wasn't sealed right, so it leaked out of it. And when I put the plug in, it pulled that little part apart and then let it come back together. Is it a possibility? It's a possibility. I have seen hot water leaks on copper lines fix themselves, really get clogged up, by just putting an air test on it. So what do I think really happened? I think that the homeowner, when he got out, rotated the valve on the pump and the filter to turn it off and on. It may not have been sealed off all the way. I'm not sure, but I still would have heard it in there if that water had been leaking out through the backflow or anything like that. Did we solve the problem? Yes, we did. Did we actually pinpoint the leak exactly where it was? Well, we know what line it was, but we can't guarantee you that that's what was fixed. But the good thing is the homeowner's happy, his leak is not leaking, his pool is running, he can chlorinate it, and his indoor water feature is looking good again in his house. So do me a favor and leave me a comment down below and tell me what is the most unique plumbing job you've ever done, because that is one of the most interesting repairs. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, helping you make more money in the trades.